So what I got here is the Thunder Tiger. This is what she looks like now. I'll take her off the bench and I'll bring her over just to show you what she's like now. This is what she looks like now. It's a lot more different than it was when I first bought it. I mean, this is big difference from what it was before, and I mean, everything's dead straight now. Its drive line is pretty dead straight, and it's finally got some decent shock oil, and the shocks were done in that, so everything's pretty much all done on it pretty good now. See, I still kept the same wheels, so I just cleaned up really well. I'll take you a quick tour on the inside of what I've done. The aerial's been fully done with the original 2.4 gigahertz. Fix that up pretty good. Now this S2 body, whoops, the aerial just shot off. This S2 body is the original body for the Thunder Tiger, and which is pretty cool. And I'll show you what the Thunder Tiger looks like now. Completely different car. Look at that. Smashing. I'll show you. Bit of a close-up. Look how good that is. I mean, that's pretty darn good. Now, I've had a few things that I had to change on it, and a couple of things I had to change on it was these plates, remember, because that was damaged. These are brand new. I've got these off the internet. New servo saver put in there as well in the back here and that. And of course, the have to show you the battery compartment, because remember, the battery compartment, this had the batteries that leaked acid, and what I done was I actually bought a brand new one, and I had a different connection on it, so I had to just quickly solder up one, but I ran out of shrink tube, so I had to use just some nice tape to go over the top of it, but it doesn't cross connection or anything. And as you can see, all the unit and everything's inside there. So I actually did this quite well, and I was actually quite pleased at how well and how much money I didn't have to spend on this thing. I'm quite pleased on how it came out. I stripped this thing completely down, cleaned the whole entire lot, even had a look at the bearings. The bearings seem to be fine. It's almost like the previous owner just neglected it and didn't use it for long because it just damaged, and yeah, it wasn't too good back then. Well, there you go. It was a ridiculous amount of effort to get this thing back up and running again, but I mean, it's the end result. This thing is like brand new. Now the fuel tank, believe it or not, is actually the original fuel tank. Is just all cleaned out, and as you can see there, the tubes are actually green and blue because I actually showed from which one's the exhaust and which one's the fuel, and you can change them as much as you want. I had to change some of the screws in the stays, in the damper stays there, because they were damaged. Some of the screws there had to be done, but the front wheels and stuff came up quite well. I'm quite pleased with that. Basically the air filter had to be cleaned out. I cleaned that out pretty darn good, as you can see there. There's still a little bit of stuff there, but not too bad. And if I pull that off, you can see that's pretty darn clean too. So I managed to keep some of the original stuff on it as possible, and obviously the carby there, which I called is like the airway or whatever I called in the last video, which had so much gunk in it. I had to take it completely off and clean it out with degreaser and then flush it out, but I got it back in there pretty good, and I made sure I counted how many turns the needle was to get it back into full swing again. This thing runs beautiful, and I've had it run around my backyard a bit out there, and it's pretty good. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with this right now. This is really pretty much a wrap now.